Hi, my name is Daniel. I used to have chronic fatigue syndrome myself, and for many years on end, I spent my time waiting in bed, waiting for the symptoms to improve. And I had little or no effect with that. Eventually, I learned that I could influence my symptoms, and I recovered. And 4 years ago, I started working as a health coach. Since then, I've been working with over 1,000 different people. And what I discovered is that we can actually turn symptoms on and off on demand. And I think that's a huge, huge discovery. And one of these symptoms is a CFS crash. And I would like to talk about that. And if you have no idea what a CFS crash is, then I guess you're very lucky because it's something very soul crushing. It is an extreme symptom, and it sort of feels like you've been run over by a truck together with a hangover and you've ran a marathon yesterday. But please, if you don't like that description and you have a better one, then write your description in the comments. A CFS crash can also be called a cell danger response. And we know this from the study from Dr. Navio. We know that the brain creates these symptoms to protect you. So what can be so bad that your brain prefers these symptoms over the actual thing, stressor? And it's easy to think that it is something from outside of you, but I've discovered that that is not really the case. Instead, your brain is protecting you against something that is inside of you. And then that is something that you are resisting, and we can call it a stressor. Before we continue, please like and subscribe, as that would really help me. So what can be so bad that your brain prefers to make these kind of symptoms over the experience of the actual stressor? First, it's good to know that a CFS crash is a mind-body symptom. And a mind-body symptom is designed to keep you away from a stressor. So you feel it in your body everywhere else except for the place where you process the actual stressor. That means it's also a sort of a distraction method. And when you tune into the body and find the actual stressor, it can be something such as shame or anger or guilt or fear, etc. But your whole body is wired to prevent you from feeling that. That's why you also have a crash. So instead, you need to first, rewire the brain a little bit in a way that you're actually okay with these emotions. And then we have several techniques to make you dive into it. And I know that's very hard because it's a debilitating symptom. And you would feel like doing nothing at all. And even the slightest effort feels too much. But it is actually possible to dive into your body and to dive into these stressors. And once we have found the stressor, your brain will create even more symptoms. And the symptoms are there to make you fear and make you stop. So it does everything it can to avoid you from feeling something. So if the symptoms increase when you're focusing on the body, that means that's a really good sign. It's like you're almost there, but not completely yet. And then we have several techniques to make you push through all these kind of resistance layers from the body. And at some point, the brain can no longer protect you because it's coming up and you're aware of it. And at that moment, you'll feel a very overwhelming emotion. And maybe you start crying, screaming, sweating, gagging, uncontrolled laughter, etc. And I call these things release symptoms. So you're starting to release the underlying stressor. And once you've done that, and it doesn't need to take that long, maybe 90 seconds, there is no need anymore for the brain to create a CFS crash or any of those mind-body symptoms at all. And they just disappear. Sometimes when you've only released half of it, it still keeps on going or it gets even worse. But then you know that you've touched it because you had an increase or decrease of symptoms. You go in again, go in a little bit deeper, And after a proper release, the symptom would just vanish. So this turns everything upside down from what we know about recovering from a chronic disease. And the work that we do is all about first preparing yourself to go in, rewiring the brain that these stressors are okay, and then lots of methods to make you access the underlying stressors to then eventually release it and feel an improvement. Or maybe it just disappears completely. And then you feel all right. And the stress response from the body immediately lowers and you feel calm. Usually after a release, people feel sleepy, really light, really calm, no thoughts, a very beautiful state. And that's a really good thing because that's what everybody wants, right? If you'd like to find out more, then please visit our website, releasecfs.com. And there is a lot of free information on the website, but there is also a paid course where we guide you every step along the way. Thanks for watching, and I wish you a beautiful day.